Welcome everyone. Today we will discuss portfolio position sizing. Many of you might be using it or might have heard about it. We hope this information presented here helps you to understand the importance of position sizing and become a better investor. The key question we will try to answer here is how many shares should I buy? And if things don't work for me, when should I sell? In this presentation, we will cover what does position sizing really mean? Do we really need it? We will get familiar with various techniques used to achieve it, but not in detail. We will cover only two techniques in detail, which are fairly easy to understand and implement. We will also look into how we can implement it. What are the key benefits and differences between these two techniques? Then we will provide some guidelines followed by closing remarks. Let's understand what does it really mean. Many disciplined investors use it as a tool to manage risk. Position sizing is simply how much percent of your portfolio is allocated towards a single position. Or in other words, how much amount are you investing in a particular stock and what percentage it is of your total investment portfolio. Many of you might be wondering, do we really need to use position sizing? The idea is simple: to manage portfolio risk efficiently and minimize losses. We have heard the saying, do not put all your eggs in one basket, but no one tells us how many eggs we should put in one basket. That is precisely what we get from doing position sizing. It enforces us to identify our risk level before we buy a stock, thereby providing us with a stop limit price at which we will sell that stock to minimize our losses. Different calculation methods are used for position sizing. We have listed only few popular techniques here. We have categorized them as simple and complex techniques. The first simple technique is you always invest fixed dollar amount in any stock. It is not very efficient but very simple to follow. The second one is always invest fixed percent of portfolio in any stock. And the third one is you always take fixed risk for every position so that your loss for every position is fixed in percentage terms. The complex technique is typically combination of simple techniques. That's what makes it a little bit complex to understand and implement. The one of the more difficult one to implement is risk based on volatility of security, because it's hard to determine how fluctuations will affect the security price, thereby affecting your risk. There are many more techniques that exist out there. We will discuss only two techniques here. Now that we know some basics, let's try and understand how to implement it. Even though both techniques explained here might sound similar, they are very different in their application and implementation, thereby affecting the outcome. Make sure you understand the key differences and how it affects the buy price as well as the stop price. Let's look at an example using simple technique. On the left side of your screen, you will see the inputs that are required for this technique. And these are the outputs that we will calculate based on the inputs. For calculation purposes, let's say we have a total investment capital of $10,000. But unfortunately, we already invested $8,000 into something else. So we are only left with available capital of $2,000. If you have all the $10,000, then you can have the available capital as $10,000. For this particular position or for this particular stock, I'm only going to invest 25% of my portfolio. 25% of $10,000 is $2,500. But I only have $2,000. So the maximum I can invest is $2,000. The percent of risk I'm willing to take on this particular stock or position is 10%. No more than 10%. What is my buy price? So let's say the stock is trading at 85 or 90. I want to buy it only when it crosses 100. So kind of a breakout buy. So that's why my buy price is 100. Now based on this, we will calculate few things. So what is my total invested capital in this particular entity? I can only have $2,000 to invest, so this becomes my total capital invested in this particular entity. How do we arrive at that number? We have shown the calculations here. How many shares am I going to buy? Since my total capital that I can invest in this position is only $2,000 and my buy price is 100, I can only buy 20 shares. In an event, if this particular stock, instead of going up, it goes down, I'm in a loss. What point should I sell it? Since my percent of risk is only 10%, 10% of 100 is 90. So my stop price is 90. But what is the loss that I will incur? It will be 200. How did I get to that number? I have 20 shares. I bought it at 100. The stock went down to 90. So $10 difference per share multiplied by 20, that will give me 200. This technique is very simple to implement and very easy to understand. Let's look at a complex technique example. Again, on left side of your screen, these are the inputs that are required. This is the output that we will calculate. Understand the basic differences as we go along. Again, our total investment capital remains $10,000. Available capital to invest is $2,000. Portfolio invested in any position. Now remember, we are saying we will only invest 25% of our portfolio in any position, versus in simple technique we said for that position we will invest 25%. The key difference lies here. The second key difference is percent of risk. At portfolio level is 2%. Remember, this is at portfolio level and not at position level. In simple technique we said percent of risk at position level was 10%. But we are calculating 2% at portfolio level. Now our buy point or buy price is $100. But here we are saying our stop price is 80. This is a new piece of information we need for complex technique. But if our stop price is 80, then how is our loss going to be same? And we will see how it remains the same in here. So our capital to invest in this particular entity, we cannot have more than $2,000. So that is the maximum we can invest. Our acceptable loss per position is 200. How did we get this number? Our percent of risk at portfolio level is only 2%. 2% of 10,000, not 2,000, 10,000. 2,000 is available capital to invest. We are not looking at available capital here, we are looking at the portfolio capital here. So 2% of 10,000 is $200. So that's how we got our acceptable loss per position. So how many shares can we buy? If our loss per position is 200, our buy price is 100, our stop price is 80, which means there's a difference of $20. So 200 divided by 20, that gives me 10. I can only buy 10 shares. So that's how my loss remains same, but I can only buy 10 shares here. Versus in simple technique, I was able to buy 20 shares, but my stop price was calculated as 90. So as you can see, the key differences. Both techniques offer different advantages. This one is a little bit difficult to implement and understand. Typically, complex technique is used by more frequent traders. Now that we have seen examples of both the techniques, let's understand key differences between the two techniques. Take a moment to go through the list. Both the techniques offer some advantages and are used as per user's comfort level. Both techniques provide flexibility in different ways. Typically, simple technique is used by occasional investors, while complex technique is used by frequent traders. Make sure you are comfortable while using any of the methods. You can create your own technique in a simple spreadsheet. As you can see, we have created a spreadsheet that shows the simple technique as well as complex technique. It requires enabling macros. It also provides you with a symbol lookup just in case if you forgot a ticker symbol. Give it a try and see if it helps you in your trading style. You can find it under members area on the website. These are some of the guidelines you can use as a starting point. To ensure diversification, one should not invest more than 20 to 25% of total portfolio into any single entity. However, you can relax this rule for mutual funds to not more than 30 to 35% because mutual funds incorporate more than one entity. While using simple position sizing technique, one should not take more than 8 to 10% risk on a single position. If you are using complex technique, the risk at portfolio level should not be more than 2 to 5%. Now remember, these are just guiding rules. You can create your own rules and try them out. By now, you should know the importance of position sizing and how to implement it. You can find free position sizing calculators on the internet, but make sure you understand how it works. All successful investors implement position sizing in some shape or form. Since stop loss limit is calculated ahead of time before we execute the transaction, it helps us to avoid massive losses. Position sizing is based on how much risk we are willing to take on our investment and hence independent of external events. However, stop loss limit needs to be placed as soon as you execute a trade and should not be mere mental stop limit. In an event our position is not performing as expected, then our stop limit is executed and we end up with a small loss instead of going into hope stage, which becomes hopeless stage, and we are looking at a massive loss. Please visit the website where you shall find position sizing spreadsheet which does the work for you based on your inputs. With that said, we hope this will help you to understand how important it is to implement position sizing, which will enable you to become an efficient trader with a good trading plan. Good luck in your trading and hope to see you next time. Thank you.